Hey everybody, my name is Rydo and today we're looking at cross-set. Let's see, start by finding the mouse. Sometimes it's easy to lose it behind a black background. Frankly, not a huge fan of the white light colored backgrounds when you have to use a mouse. Maybe the default Windows cursor doesn't help me. We can see there's only a sound on and a sound off button and an exit game button and level 1, so let's select level 1. Alright, so to begin with, this seems to imply that we're going to have 8 chapters with 8 puzzles. That tells me 64 if I can do math right. Right, here we go. How to play: make every row and column in each one. Let's see. Okay, make every row and column consist of each one of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think I get this. Left click to change the number, right click to fix the number. So we just played 2 games, 2 digits and 3 digits, and I bailed out on 3 digits because it was too much math for me. Here's a very similar game, although this is more kind of like a just Sudoku with a slight change. And it seems like I can unlock the middle ones already, but they're helping me out, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 2. So if I I see what's going on here. Wait a minute. So, even though I can unlock all I want, it doesn't matter because these are not switchable. Interesting. So we don't look at the sub number, the second number in it. We just look at the top numbers. So, before we go crazy here, I believe this is how it started. The thing we're missing is this needs to be a 4. This has a 1, 2, 3. This needs to be a 4. This has 1, 2, 3, 4. And this has this one here needs to be 1. Obviously, because it's the only one in both of these 2 options to do that. And then this could either be a 2 or a 4 because they're in the corners. The corners are going to be our real keystones. The music was playing kind of loudly and kind of longly. I can say, compared to 2 digits and 3 digits, at least this Unity game, both made in Unity, is taking better advantage of the screen, having a menu button over here, having sound effects when I hover over it. Level 1-1 here at the top left. Maybe nothing here, but I imagine the puzzles will get bigger later. Can't do anything with the how to play. I imagine that will just be for level 1. I am noticing that the background is changing. Yes, it is. Interesting move. Probably a little distracting too. It just went from white to more of a pinkish hue. Let's see if we can really solve this. This has to be 3 because there's only 1 3 here. This has to be 1 because there's only 1 here. Which that solves that, and that solves that one, and then this one solves that one. And then the only question is the 4, which is there. So level cleared, nice. We can go back to the main menu, or we can just have clicked next. You could almost confuse cross-set for the next game made by the same people that made 3 digits and 2 digits. Although everything just looks better here, and it has this nice drop shadow, and I'm pretty sure it's not the same people. So now they've made it a little bit more difficult, and how to play is, I guess, just gonna stay here for all of them, or at least the first level, first section. So I suppose you could alternate something like this and this. A 4 here and a 4 here. And a 2 here and a 2 here. Would probably still work pretty nicely. I don't know if that's the real step. The issue here, this isn't as much about doing math as it is about arranging digits. But there are some logical things you can come to conclusions on. For instance, in this row, there's only 1 3, so that has to be it. The only 2 that can actually swap are this 2 and this 4. One of these is 4, one of these is 2. If this was 4, for instance, then there would be 2 2s. If this was 4, there'd be 2 2s, and that just isn't going to work. So, similarly, is there something we can find out here? Not particularly right now. Probably this is a 4, if I was just to guess. It seems like there's not really a reason not to experiment and swap things back and forth. There's only 1 1 here, so it has to be. And then I have to get a 2 between one of these, so I'd probably say this and that. Or you could switch it all around, do this 4, do this 2, do this 3. But in any way you do it, you know this 1 is here, and these 2 are swappable. So moving on to the next one, we have a 4, a 1 that has to be here because there's no 1 here, and that means there has to be a 4 here. So then we can probably lock those 2 right there, and then gotta make sure I click the right buttons to figure this out. I may have overstepped my bounds here, though. I may have figured something out, messed it up. This needs to be a 4, and let's see, 4, 2, 4, 2. There needs to be a 3 here, so that's locked. That makes this 2. That makes this 4. That makes this swap to this, which then makes that swap to this, which then makes something wrong, because this has to be 3, which means that has to be 4, which means that has to be 2, which means this 2 has to be 4, which means then this 4 has to be 2, which then tells me that this has to switch here. Ah, I made a mistake early on in the puzzle. Early on. And now it's gotten more difficult because it's introduced to 5. How much more difficult? Ooh, actually quite a lot more difficult. We've seen a huge jump here because there's multiple options, like 2 2s here, 2 3s here, 2 1s here. So I can't figure out the solution for any of those. I imagine with less options here, though, I can switch between these. This 4 means this is a 2. And let's see, if I could do this and X out a 4, that would be helpful. But nope. This one tells me there has to be a 1 here. That was the only option anyways. Now we have 2, so this makes that 1, and then that makes this 4, and then that one makes that 3. Get rid of that. So we need a 5 which only that works. And we can get rid of that 5. And we need a 3. Alright. And see, I could assume that the solution is all of this, but I don't actually know that. We need a 1. And there could be a 1 on either end here. We need a 2. There's only 1 2 in this whole row. Get rid of that. Now we need a 4 3. Can't be a 4 here, but that wouldn't change anything. Let's see, we need a 1. We need a 2. I think on this row there's only a 2. See, doing this puzzle already, it feels slightly adjacent from the puzzle I was doing before. It feels like something new needs to be learned here. Because, yeah, it's not the same thing for sure. Not that I was expecting the same thing. Not for a second. I was just... It does have a similar appearance. And you run into this issue in any digital storefront. Amazon.com is pretty bad about this too. Although, particularly in Amazon.com's case, many people just use stock images when they're third-party sellers and don't even show you pictures that they took themselves of the product they're selling. In the similar way, on Steam, they give you these screenshots. And even if they are actual representations of what's happening in the game, it's not as informative as you would hope. There's only 1 3 in this column here, so that makes this 4, which means get rid of that. So it could be 5 or 3 on either one of these, and it can't be 3, so this has got to be 5 and this has got to be 3, which gets rid of that one. And we need a 1 here, so that gets rid of that, and we need a 2, and we need a 5s. There we go. So, in similar ways, since this is 1, 3, and 5, this 3 and this 5 eliminates it, puts it as a 1. You can look at the screenshots on Steam and sometimes think, oh, I kind of have an idea what this game is, and you can read the description and think you have an understanding of that too, but until you really start to play the game and really get a feeling for it, then you just really don't know. I am noticing it seems like different backgrounds are randomized, and we're getting a different song for every puzzle. Now I bet they can't hold that up. I bet it will start cycling after 8 songs, but even at 8 or 12 songs, you've got a full soundtrack there. Even for a video game like this, to have multiple songs is kind of amazing to me. This is an interesting one because it's gone 1 bigger. We have 6s now. And what can we find out? We can have a 5 or a 1 here. That doesn't help. We need a 2 here. It could be one of those. We need a 1. Yeah, this 1 can only be a 1 because of that. And then this 6 can only be a 6 because it's the only one available. Which then forces this to be a 2 since it's the only 2, and forces this to be a 5 because it's the only one of those. Alright. This has to be a 2 because there's already a 1, which means this has to be a 4 because there's only 1 4 here too, and that means that has to be a 6. Alright. Moving forward further, 5, there's only 1 left, so that has to be a 1, and then no 2, So it's 5 or 6 on either side. We'll have to figure that out later. We need a 3 on this row, so that locks that down. And then we need a 4, no, we need a 5, which locks this down. And a 6, which locks that one down. And then, because of this 6 and this one, only 3 there. Because of this one, and that moves that one out. Let's see, we need a 4 on this column, and there's only one 4, which locks that down. And so now there's only one 5 available, and that makes that a 6. Great. This one and this one eliminates 1, so that has to be a 4. And then we need a 5 and a 3. This 5 can't be a 6. And that. And see, we are left with just these corners. We've made a little heart shape almost. Let's see, no 5. So this is either a 6 or a 2. And it can't be a 2, so it's a 6. And then no 3 here, so this has to be a 2. And then this has to be a 5. And this has to be a 1. And this has to be a 6. And we've solved the puzzle. Level 2 revealed. This is interesting. We did 4 of the 8 puzzles, and it unlocked level 2 for another 8 puzzles. But I'm also noticing these puzzles are going to get gradually larger and larger. They go back to 4 times 4, but this could become slightly more time consuming, but I'm not sure actually more difficult. And until they start adding a considerable amount of extra options here, I think it's a matter of just process of elimination. For instance, this 1 can't be that, so that's that, which means this 2 similarly can't be a 2, so that has to be that. And that's one column done already. And this 1 can't be a 1 because of that 1 next to it, which makes that a 4, which makes that a 3. We have a 3 and a 4 option. This can't be a 4 because of this 4, so that's 3, and that's 4. Solves that problem. And we have, this can't be a 2, so it has to be 3. This can't be a 2, and so it has to be 4. And we just have the central solutions, and they're not going to be too difficult either. This 4 can't be a 4 because of this, and it seems like they intentionally put those numbers next to each other so you can obviously see it. It would be a little bit more difficult if the 4 was over here and over there, but you would probably look both directions. This is actually pretty easy. Just search the columns, search the rows stuff. This is a game that very possibly you could emulate in there. I didn't even look at that button and I solved it. You could emulate something similar to this in Excel and not have to do too many compromises. The game is also not feeling very complicated either or difficult so far, although that being said, this has started to step it up. We know that one of these is 5 and one of these is 4, so there's a solution there that we're gonna have to pick. And I'm not sure where to start. Actually, there's no great starting point here. We have a 2 and a 3 here. We have a 5 and 1 and a 4. Here's a good point. This 4 is the only number here, so that locks that down. And then that locks down this 5 because there can't be 2 4s. And then that gives the 2, the 1, and the 3 down. This 5 gets eliminated to a 1. This 1 gets eliminated to a 2. And that leaves only 3 and 4 on this column. Yes, that's right. So here we have a 1 on this row, only in one place. So that has to be 1. And then there's multiple 2s, multiple 3s, and multiple 4s, but only one 5. So that's got to be 5. And similarly, there's only one 4 in this column. So we'll solve that one, lock that one down. Moving on, is there only one 2? No, there's many 2s, many 3s. Here there's 1 1 already, so that has to be 3. Get rid of that. We need a 2 and a 4, but we can't have 3 here, so this is 5. I hope I'm not moving too fast for people. This 2 eliminates that 2, making this 3, and then that only leaves 1 as an option there. And we're slowly drawing what almost feels like a picture, but I'm not sure if they're intentionally doing that or if my mind is simply just finding patterns that aren't really there. I guess that would be a subtle confirmation also, though, because we're finding patterns. If we saw picture patterns too, that would be quite sly and intelligent of the video game producer. So we only had one 5 in this column, but only had one 2 in this column, so then something is wrong. No, we had 2 5s in this column, so I did that wrong. We'll try that again. Hopefully I didn't make a mistake, because any mistakes I lock down, I will be very overconfident about, and that will be my downfall. Let's see, no 1 here, so we could have a 2, but no 3. So no, we have 1 and 3 here. If we trust that, that's 2. That eliminates that 2. So we're looking for a 3 and a 1. There can't be a 3 here, so this has to be 1. That has to be 3. And let's move on. This one is looking for 3. Wow, all the other ones were already in place. I feel like I'm gonna make a little bit of a crazy suggestion for a game like this, but because we've run into several levels and there aren't a ton of levels here in the first place, they either need to specifically not put the right solution down by default, which then would feed to the right solution, because some of the early levels it might be really easy to just immediately toggle everything if you know every single puzzle starts in the wrong place. So I wouldn't say that, but what I would say is have it slowly, after you make a click and maybe make a row or column, flip another one. Just switch it from the right to the wrong position. That way it not only brings the player's eyes to a wrong solution that then they would have to correct, it would feel like the game is interacting with you a little bit more than most puzzle games actually do interact with you. Most puzzle games simply just put it right in front of you and that's it. This 2, I believe, is the only 2 here. So that makes that 1, that makes that 3, that makes that 4, and then that gets rid of 2 and 3, making that 5. So I just made a column in my suggestion here. Flip one of these numbers if they are by default in the right place. And sure, that would be a little bit of a hint to the player, well, that just got flipped, I better go flip it back, but in the end I'd rather click and have a little bit more game to play than what I'm experiencing here. feels like I'm kind of burning through this, and we had a similar case in 2 digits. Definitely not the case in 3 digits, however, because that was just too big of numbers to do subtraction on. But I certainly did feel that we were breezing through a lot of the elements there. This 3 here eliminates that, making that 1, making this 5 because there's a 3 here and a 1 here already, making this 4 because that's the only 4, making this 2. That makes that 3, gets rid of 2 and 3, making that 4 and making that 1. This 4 makes this 3, this makes that 5, this makes this either 1 or 4. We'll come back to it. I really don't like the color shifts here. I get what they're trying to do, and it's a cool idea. It's too drastic and too fast. It's offsetting. I've never thought on a cell phone or a computer that a changing background was a interesting thing. It feels too much like a distraction. This one and that one, and see, one of these I'm gonna change, and it's probably gonna just by default be the other 2 over right. Nope. Interesting. I like the little music, the ding da ding. And this will be our last puzzle, I think, for today. We'll just see if we can do one chapter, one group per recording, and then we'll be done pretty fast. Here you have 66666 here and 33333 here. I imagine if you can do something like that, depending on the numbers you're given, that will make for an easy solution, because it probably means that you could do some similar numbers here, just rotated here, just rotated here, and just rotated here, and do a 90-degree rotation on all of it. You could possibly also just mirror the solution. We'll see what happens, because like this 462 and this 62 aren't gonna work that way. But starting with this 6, that eliminates that, making that 2, and that eliminates that, making that 1. There's only one 5 here and only one 4. This 6 is eliminated to make 1. That makes, let's see, if this is the only 5, and let's see, 5 and 6 are eliminated, so that's 2, and then that makes this 4. And we can see there's a different solution here: 2 1 3 6 4 5 4 1 3 6 2 5. I was thinking maybe it would be an exact opposite, since this is our last puzzle, but with only 8 puzzles in the first level, you don't really have time to play number of games and show off how intelligent you are. Here, this 3 can't be used because of these 2 3s, so that has to be 1. And this 6 can't be used, and that 1 can't be used, and so it's either 2 or 4, making this 5, of course. That was the only option anyways. This 3 can't be used, making that 1. This 3 can't be used because of that, making that 4, making that 2. Let's see, 5, 2, that's still up for grabs. This 5, 2, that's still up for grabs. 4, 2. This 6 can't be used, this 4 might be able to be used. This 3 can't be used though, so that's 2. That means this has to be 1. That means that has to be 4, and that has to be 5. This 1 and this 4. This 4 can't be used. Wow. another prime example. 1, 2, 3, 4 4 pieces just by default where they're supposed to be. Maybe I did come back and click some of these, but I'm not sure. What does this slight whiteness mean? Because this is just a white number, where this is a blue, a yellowish green color. I don't know. It's not gonna be a long one, I can tell you that, though. No credits either in the game, it seems like, unless they show up later on. You just have music by right here. And see, I wouldn't be super surprised if there's only 8 more, which would total 64 puzzles. Is there a reason to go back to puzzles? Because we might find something different. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2. Let's go back to the menu and reload. Restart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2. Yep. Nice that it has a restart button. Not really necessary. And see, with this being a Unity game, I imagine it would work on a cell phone or be portable, easily to port to a cell phone. But it's working on PC too. Anywho, that's going to be it for our first recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. Also, when you subscribe, please click that bell so you get notifications of my newest videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all those links are down below in the description. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.